Hello, everybody. I am yet again Price McKinney, simply put. And as always, I want to thank you for tuning in and listening. So, before I go another further, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, simply put with Price McKinney. Most importantly, go to YouTube, like, subscribe, watch a video, leave a comment. Simply put podcast with your boy, Price McKinney. All right. Be respectful. Part two. We're going to dive right in head first. To respect, to hold admiration for, to esteem, to hold in high regard. If you cannot do that for your person, you have to ask yourself why. And whatever your why is, whatever answer you come up with, that would lead you in one or two directions. It'll help you figure out what the problem is, or you can wind up being by yourself. Simple as that. You can you cannot disrespect people, especially your person, the person that you're around the most, the person you spend the most time with, the person you're in relationship with, which is obviously what we're talking about. And you've gotten to the point where you see them for whatever reason as lesser than. What does this look like? I don't even want to say this, but I have to. You talk to that person, as the old folks say, like a dog. You have become content with your communication being cussing that person all the time and calling them names or calling them out of their name or referring to them as dumb, stupid, you retarded, whatever the case may be. These are ways how I'm trying to slow my brain down. How you talk to the person can that's what would display how you disrespect them, how you talk to them. If you're in a, as they call it, heated debate or confrontation or whatever, and your mouth starts going 100 miles an hour, let 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 me recommend, let me suggest that you pump your brakes, back the bus up, go take you a timeout. If you have to leave away from that person, even if you're married, it's okay to do this. If you have to leave, get away, woosah, take you a timeout. By all means, do whatever you need to do. But you cannot continue, if this is you, you cannot continue being disrespectful. Here's another way you gotten to the point where you exclude them from basic, simple decisions within the household. Whether it be you have kids, whether it be who's going to pick up this, who's going to get that, who's going to pay this bill, who's going to cover that, what don't matter. If you've gotten to the point where you like, you know what, bump them and you don't consider their input, especially in major decisions, because you've just lost respect for that person, that's a bad place. That is a very bad place. And I said this in the last video. If you give the people, because I don't care what position you're in, whether it be a job, whether it be, an outside group, whether it be within church, outside of church, job, community, it doesn't matter. If you give the people in those groups or in those places more respect than you do the person that you're with, we got to fix that because that is not good. If you don't, and I get it, I get it. Some of you may say, well, I'll say whatever I say. I I'm gonna say whatever I want to say. I'm gonna speak my piece. They can get it perfectly fine, but you're gonna run up on the wrong one. And even if you are doing that and you're doing that to leadership or the people in authority or the people in positions over you, where you currently are ain't gonna last long. I can assure you that, because especially now, people are just don't have the patience and the tolerance to put up with that kind of stuff. And you got to ask yourself, if that's you, where you're constantly popping off at the mouth, cussing people out, flying off the handle, what is wrong with you? And I don't say that to be harsh or mean. I'm saying that because you got to check within yourself and figure out, why am I like this? Why am I rude? Why am I disrespectful? Why do I talk to people any kind of way? We've got to figure that out. And for some people, I myself included, I had to go get touching they would tell them professional help, professional help, a therapist, a counselor. I have a great EAP program on my job, and I had to bite the bullet and go, because I during that time I was not in a good place, and my mouth exemplified that and displayed that, and it was not good, and it could have cost me some things that I didn't need to lose. Say it that way. I had to get some help. So if you're that person, because, and let me say this, and as I said at the end of my videos, and I'm gonna say it again now, I'm not an expert. I just know what I know. If your anger or your frustration or what's bothering you has gotten you to the point where you just don't give a flying flip, you need to do something different. You need to figure something else out. Um, if that's you in that relationship and you're at an impasse, you've hit that wall and it ain't going no further, you need to figure something out and you need to do something different. Because I'm gonna tell you, and I'm just being honest and I'm being transparent when I say this, because I thought about this all week long. I got to the point where, hear me, ma'am, hear me, sir. Okay, I'm not telling you what to do because we're all grown, but my internal frustration and my anger started affecting my health. I was having migraine after migraine after migraine, bad migraines, to the point where I'd have to call out from work. At one point, I even, God rest her soul, my sister, I had to get her advice, because I had to, a few times I had to get a shot of, if I'm saying it correctly, Toradol, for the migraines. I had to get on a prescription pill for it, Excedrin, top wrap. Wasn't none of that stuff working. So because of where I was in my head and in my heart, it started affecting my health because I did not deal with that stuff properly, right? I internalized everything. So my go-to move was withdraw, shut down, go mute. Not talking, right? You don't get that stuff out, guess what happens? It stays in. And guess when it stays in, it stays there, literally. And I also had a bad case of colitis consistently. And then that turned into diverticulitis. So you may be at, why is he telling it? Because that put me in the hospital a couple of times. It, trust me when I tell you, all because I didn't deal with what was dealing with me properly. So since I didn't deal with it the right way, it started dealing with me. So all I'm saying to you folks is, whatever's causing you to be angry to the point where you become disrespectful. And I've seen it, I've heard stories about it, I've talked to people, all of the above. So I know what I'm saying. Get yourself some help so you don't continue on this path, because as time goes on, it progressively gets worse. And then again, it starts affecting your health. And that's what you don't want. Well, you got to go to the doctor and you say, well, I got this, and they run all of these tests and they can't come up with nothing. You know why? Because it's not physical. It's what you're not dealing with. And that's not going to show up on the x-ray. Trust me when I tell you that. The cause of what I was diagnosed with, it didn't show up on the x-ray, but I knew what it was. So again, be careful how you talk to people, and particularly your person. The person you're in relationship with, the person you're now liking or pursuing and trying to date. Be careful that you don't become disrespectful, and how you say what you say. Don't belittle them, and make sure if you include that person, especially if you're married, and your decision making, and you've not gotten to the point where you just like what the bleep 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 ever. Okay, let's be better. Let's do better. All right. Again, I'm Price McKinney. Simply put, I want to thank you for listening to this. Again, follow me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Simply put, with Price McKinney. Most importantly, go to YouTube. Simply put, podcast with your boy Price McKinney. And again, I'm not an expert. I just know what I know, and I promise you, I'll see you soon.